All right, hi DCC. Welcome to the first episode of Get to Know Your Fellow DCC church members. We're starting this morning with our fearless chairwoman, Brittany Cord. So Brittany, do you want to just start by telling us a little bit about yourself and your family?
Sure. So I'm Brittany, and I'm from Davenport, Iowa. I was born in Davenport and raised there. I'm the youngest of three sisters, but most people would tell you that I have the oldest child personality and not the youngest child personality. My parents are Nancy and Dennis, and my dad was a truck driver for 40 years. My mom is a tailor at Men's Warehouse. I grew up in the Disciples of Christ church and went to church my whole life. Accepted Jesus as my Savior at about 9 or 10, I think, and got baptized then. Went to church camp, did all of that. In high school, I was on the Upper Midwest Youth Council, which organized events for all the youth in the Upper Midwest for the Disciples of Christ Church. So even back then, I was organizing things. That tends to be my MO. I like to organize and do administrative type things. I went to the University of Iowa and I got my accounting degree and met my husband, John Cord, there, and then followed him around the country while he was finishing all his degrees, and I worked in corporate accounting for about 10 years, and then we landed back in Decorah, and now I teach at Luther. I teach accounting, or counting, as my kids will tell you. But yeah, and I have 3 kids. Kylie's 9, Sadie is 7, and Bailey is almost 4. And that's about me. What else do you... Anything interesting you want to know?
Tell us what your family's life, what a normal day or week in the life of your family looked like before the quarantine.
So we're pretty active, we're pretty busy. I work pretty normal hours, like 8 to 4-ish. My husband, though, works all over the place, not all different times. He is the trumpet professor at Luther and also plays professionally on the side. So he is always kind of going to gigs or goes back to student recitals or all those types of things. So, my girls go to school regularly or daycare, and we just kind of, we have, my oldest swims or does wrestling, and my middle one does dance once a week. So we're just kind of back and forth, doing all of our things. We do try to sit down to dinner together every night. But then, it's the routine of baths and books and bed and homework and all of those things. Our weekends are never the same. It all just depends on if John has gigs or not, or if we're going to visit parents. My parents live in Davenport. John's parents live in Des Moines, so we go and visit them. And so, yeah, that's our normal day.
So you have survived, as of this recording, 1 week of the quarantine. What has your life looked like this week?
Well, I still worked Monday and Tuesday. John canceled his lessons, and he was daycare dad all week long. So he's actually been at it more than I have, and he's probably better at it than I am. But we kind of decided to take this week as our spring break, I guess, to just kind of relax. And we had a little bit of routine, but not much. Every now and then we look up at the clock and say, oh, we should turn the screens off. And then we make the kids do a few things. They do workouts with their dad, and they go outside and play. There was some sledding this morning. So we do that for a little while, and then we all migrate back to our screens for a few hours and then repeat. So that's kind of been we're all staying up a little later, sleeping in a little longer. so that's kind of been the schedule this week. I decided not to work on converting my class to online until next week, to kind of give a little transition break for us.
What has surprised you about this week? Besides the obvious.
I don't know if anything has surprised. Well, what has surprised me is how well my husband has kind of just stepped up. And I mean, he always steps up and he always takes care of the girls, but he has just kind of taken leadership in the, educating them or having them go outside and take walks or do other things. And so he's just been really willing and does a really good job of corralling them in the house. So it's on one hand a little not really surprising because he's always a good dad, but he's really kind of stepped up and taken control of that piece.
What have you found to be the most challenging thing so far?
Having my people be around me all the time is challenging. I love my children, but I also really like sitting in my office doing my work. I would not being interrupted. So that's been a challenge to have the kids around all the time. I think there's been some self-quarantining by me into other rooms so that I could just have some peace and quiet.
Is there anything that you're kind of looking forward to in this season?
Well, less Luther meetings. There's that. I look forward to I really enjoy being challenged, and I've taught a little bit online before, but I really kind of enjoy the challenge of adapting my curriculum to online. I know not everybody feels that way, and I wouldn't want to teach that way all the time, but I kind of love the goal, that there's a goal and I get to achieve it is kind of how my brain works. And so I think I'm thinking about all the things I can do and all the ways that I can make this effective, and I look at it as a challenge instead as a goal to attain, as opposed to a thing that I have to do begrudgingly. So that's kind of exciting for me.
And what do you feel like God has been teaching you in this challenge?
I think so. I love to be organized and have a schedule, although I would say that I'm not as organized in my home life as I appear to be. But in the summertime, I make kind of a schedule for the girls so that we can keep doing some schoolwork and those types of things. And I feel like this week, especially after the really fast transition of K through 12, not existing on Sunday night, Monday was really stressful for me, and Tuesday a little bit. And then I think the decision to just not do anything school related Wednesday through Friday this week, and to just rest and kind of, kind of observe a Sabbath a little bit, to just, de-stress and understand that there'll be time and we'll get through this, and give myself some grace. So I feel like that's been kind of a teaching moment. At the beginning of the week, I was really stressed out about getting everything done, and then now I'm just nope, not going to do schoolwork till Monday. So it's been kind of nice to just read a book and watch my kids play outside in the snow.
Awesome. Thanks for being our first, I want to say contestant. That's not the right word. Our first person, and getting to know our DCC members. Thank you for leading the way. If you would like to be interviewed for another episode of Getting to Know Our DCC Friends and members, please just shoot Julie an email, and we'll get her done. Bye for now.